in the Talmud that if one reads the inscription on the matzeva, the Gemara said it's kosher l'shikha, it can induce forgetfulness, which is, the commentaries explain that's why we carve it inside and it shouldn't protrude. However, there's a vort which is said on this, that if the only way one remembers the individual is through the inscription on the matzeva, then it'll shikha, it will be forgotten. It's not going to be remembered. And so, just as I've been the rabbi for Manash for about 12 years, and definitely one of the highlights and one of the privileges was knowing the late Mr. Rosenkrantz. I can say, and I'm speaking on behalf of the people that attend the shul, both residents and people from the community, that over the past year, we have truly felt his absence. And I realized going through each month, there was something special. For example, just a number of months ago, it was Parshas Pinchas. So Parshas Pinchas, anyone who knows Mr. Rosenkrantz well, there's a story you can watch. There's a movie on it, but that was when his brother was taken, and he was taken by the authorities. That was in Vienna, whatever country it was, but he was taken away, and he was brought back. And the whole story with the Haftorah, but he had an amazing story, and it was Parshas Pinchas. So many years, I would ask him, please relate the story in Parshas Pinchas. So many years, he told this an amazing story, which they made a movie in Israel about the story. So that was just one event. Every time it was Yizkor, he would speak. And just recently, about 6 months ago, a lady came, a daughter of a resident, and she said, Rabbi, I daven in a different shul. This is the greatest Yizkor experience, the most meaningful I've ever experienced in my life. And she said the way, and it was Mr. Rosenkrantz, the way he would speak and with the emotion, and he always put in great preparation whenever he was going to speak. He would prepare. He would always find out what's the parsha, and he put a lot of preparation in, and it was a lot of emotion. And he would speak to the residents on their level. And it was amazing the way he connected with people, with the residents. I mean, this week is Kristallnacht, right? I think Thursday. So if he would be here right now, he would be speaking. He would spoke Kristallnacht, he would tell his experiences. If it was Yom HaShoah, right, in the end of Nisan, he would speak. Just to remember, many years after Tisha B'Av, after the saying Eicha, so sitting down with some young, because there are always young people that come to Ebi Manash, sitting down with him, and he was telling us about how, with his uncle, they did Bikur Cholim to Nachman Bialik, with his uncle. And he had so many famous people that he met. And remember sitting down and telling us stories about Rabbi Anglo Danglo. And he had the inside story about anyone you wanted. And it was amazing, and it was such a privilege. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult without him, and there's no replacement. So may he's looking down on high, and may we give him only yes.
Just got a little bit more to go.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, there's no end. There's no end of what can be said. But continue.
That's exactly right. I wanted to thank my uncle for providing us with all of this insight into Zayda's life as not just a leader of the community, but as a father. I felt so fortunate being able to know my maternal grandparents, especially having such a close relationship with my Zayda as I grew into adulthood. People would always tell me how wonderful my grandfather was when I mentioned his name, but their response was concerning Shmuel, the community man, whereas all he needed to be, and all he was to me, was Zayda, the family man. Whilst he felt a responsibility to look after the Jewish community as if it was his own, his feeling of responsibility and dedication towards us, his family, was always far greater. He would always listen and advise us all, but never with any judgment, using his years of experience to guide us through our difficulties. For many years, Zayda was certainly the patriarch of our family, with all of our gatherings revolving around him and whatever he wanted to do. You could say he had some sort of veto power when it came to making decisions, especially about what we would be eating. He would always make sure that we were well aware of his history, as well as the history of the Jewish people, and reminded us how lucky we were to live in this country. I suppose you could say Zayda grounded us all in many ways. Some of my fondest memories shared with him were reading the weekly Izzy Liebler article to him. and he would sit there listening intently, so deep in thought that I could tell he was just bursting to respond and discuss with me when I finished. Zeta's poor eyesight was certainly a challenge at times, but in moments like that, his incredible knowledge and memory was the only sense he needed. That said, between us all here, I don't believe his eyesight was nearly as bad as he made it out to be, considering the number of times he told me in no uncertain terms that he did not like what I was wearing. On behalf of us all the family, we wanted to thank you all for being here today and being important parts in Emil, Shmuel, Dad, or Zeta's life, whatever it was that you called him and knew him as.
I want to just read the inscription at the top. The Pei Nun Poi. This one here is Very Grib Shmuel. Ben Moshe Lazar, the Golda Nifter, he passed away Chaf Hey El, Tufshin, Ayin Vav. On the 25th of El, which is the creation of the world, 5777, and the acronym in Hebrew, Tehei Nishmasoi Tzrora B'Tzrora Chaim. May his neshama be bound up in the bond of life, and husband of Betty, father and father-in-law of Ron, Judith, and Leon, grandfather of Danny, Rachel, and Paul, Terry, and Jonathan, great-grandfather of Charlie and Jules, brother of Pinchas, Alav Shalom, and Annie, brother-in-law of Esther, Alav Shalom, and Isaac, long-life servant of the Jewish community. At this point, we say the Kel Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shoichein Bamroimim, Hamtzei Menucha Nachoina, Kanfei Hashchina, Bemalois Kedoshim Mutorim Kozara Rakia Mazirim Es Nishmas, Shmuel Ben Moshe Lazar Sholach Loi Lamoi, Bavor Shanachnu Mispalim Be'aras Kars Nishmasoi, Began Eden Temenu Chasoi, Lochein Balo Rachamim Yastir Beseser Knaf of Leilamim, Bitzror Chaim Es Nishmasoi, Adoin Ayu Nachalasoi, V'yanuach B'Shalom Mishkavoi, V'noimar Amen.
Amen.
That's the conclusion of the service.
Amen. Beloved Rachad for Savior, Milk Machasei Ba'Chain, V'Yavchain, V'Chayed, Dichol Beis Yisrael, Ba'Galos Man Korim B'Ri Amen. Sparach, V'Ishtabach, V'Yispa'ah, V'Yisvarmam, V'Yisnasei, V'Yisadav, V'Yislev, V'Yislau, Shemei K'Kidishah B'Richot, V'Elo Minchol, V'Chasa, V'Shirasa, Tishbechasa, V'Nechamasa, Diamaramon, V'Yalama, V'Yimru, Amen. Yeshalama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'Chayim, Aleinu, V'Alko, Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen. V'Sei Shalom, B'Mamafu, Yasei Shalom, Aleinu, V'Alko, Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen.
Amen.
There we go. Yes? Yes?